I wasn't supposed to take the job. That's what my sister said when I told her about it. The listing was short, too short. Night building supervisor, overnight shift, minimal interaction required, good pay, do not access the 12th floor. That last line wasn't bolded. It wasn't explained. It was just there. And for some reason, that's what made me apply. The building sat at the edge of downtown, isolated from the rest of the skyline like it had been quietly forgotten. 12 floors of reflective glass. Half the offices were vacant. The lobby lights flickered even during the day. The interview lasted less than 6 minutes. The property manager didn't ask about experience, didn't ask about references. He slid a key card across the table and said, "Your shift starts at midnight. You'll monitor cameras. Walk each floor once between 1 and 3 a.m. He paused. "Skip the 12th. I waited for him to explain. He didn't. My first night was quiet. Too quiet. The kind of quiet that makes your ears ring. The lobby clock ticked loudly behind the desk. The elevator hummed like it was breathing. At 12:47 a.m., I checked the monitors. 11 floors displayed, not 12. There was no camera labeled 12. I counted twice. Basement, 1 through 11. Roof access, no 12. At 1:15 a.m., I began my floor checks. The elevator panel listed 12 buttons, but the 12 button had no backlight, no number printed, just a blank square like it had been scraped off. I pressed 11. The doors closed slowly. As we passed the 10th floor, I felt it, that subtle shift in motion, like the elevator moved 1 extra second, longer than it should have. It stopped. The display read 11. The doors opened. The hallway lights flickered. Floor 11 was normal. Empty cubicles, closed office doors, a water cooler humming. I did my walk. Nothing unusual. When I returned to the elevator, I noticed something. The call button outside the doors had 2 arrows, up, down. But there shouldn't be an up arrow. This was the top floor. I didn't press it. I told myself it was old wiring.
Wait, zoom
bad
in on
maintenance.
screen 12.
I took
He's
the
looking
elevator
right at the
back to the
lens.
lobby. The ride down felt longer than it should have. Night 3 is when it happened. 1:38 a.m. I was in the monitoring room, half watching the camera feeds, when a new square appeared. Between floor 11 and roof access, it flickered into existence, labeled only 12. I leaned forward. The feed showed a hallway, identical to the others. Fluorescent lights, gray carpet, closed office doors. At the far end of the hallway, movement. Something stepped out of frame. I froze. The building was empty. No tenants, no night staff besides me. The feed glitched, then stabilized. The hallway was empty again. I grabbed the radio. Control to any personnel on site. Silence. The feed flickered again. This time, a door at the end of the hallway slowly opened, just a few inches. Darkness inside. The lights in the monitoring room dimmed slightly. I didn't realize I was holding my breath until the screen went black. The 12th floor feed disappeared, like it had never been there. I checked the elevator panel, still blank where 12 should be. But this time, there was a faint glow behind the square. Very faint, like something trying to light up. I told myself I imagined it. Lack of sleep, isolation. Old buildings make noises. Old screens glitch. But the next night, the call button outside the elevator on floor 11 was glowing. Up. I pressed it. I don't know why. Maybe curiosity. Maybe stupidity. The elevator doors opened instantly. Too instantly. I stepped inside. The doors closed. The panel lit up. The blank square where 12 should be was now illuminated. No number, just light. The elevator began to rise. It moved slower than before. The air felt heavier. The hum of the cables deepened into something almost organic, like a low groan. Then, it stopped. The display above the door was blank, not showing a number. The doors opened. The hallway looked exactly like the camera feed, but the lights were dimmer in person, softer, almost yellow. The carpet felt thicker under my boots, like it absorbed sound. I stepped out. The doors closed behind me, and the elevator didn't leave. It stayed there, waiting. The hallway stretched longer than the building's dimensions allowed. I knew that. I'd seen the blueprints in the office. This floor didn't fit. There were doors on both sides, all closed, all unmarked, except one, at the very end, door 1200, the only numbered door. Halfway down the hall, I heard it. Footsteps, behind me, soft, measured, matching mine. I stopped. They stopped. I turned. The hallway was empty. The elevator doors were closed now, and there was no call button beside them. I started walking faster. The footsteps matched me, closer now. I could feel the vibration through the carpet, almost like it was underneath the floor, moving below me, tracking me. I reached door 1200. It was slightly open, just like on the monitor. Inside was darkness, but not empty darkness. It felt thick, occupied. I don't know how else to describe it, like the room was full of something I couldn't see. Behind me, the footsteps stopped, right outside the door. I didn't turn around. I couldn't. I felt it there, close, standing inches away, breathing. But the breathing wasn't in my ears. It was in my chest, like my lungs weren't working alone. The door to 1200 creaked open wider on its own. Inside the room, faint shapes began to form. Desks, chairs, people. Dozens of silhouettes sitting at desks, all facing away from me, all perfectly still. A whisper came from behind me, not loud, not aggressive, just calm. You weren't supposed to come up here. The silhouettes turned their heads at the same time. Not their bodies, just their heads. And their faces were blank, smooth, featureless. The lights flickered. For a split second, I saw them clearly. Every single silhouette had my face. Not identical, but versions of me. Different expressions. Fear, anger, confusion, screaming. The whisper came again. You always come up here. My stomach dropped. Always? The room shifted. The desks weren't desks anymore. They were monitoring stations, each screen showing the lobby, the floors, me, on different nights, walking, sitting, sleeping at the desk. Hundreds of recordings from angles that didn't exist. I stumbled backwards. The presence behind me didn't move. It didn't need to. The lights in the hallway shutting off one by one, starting from the elevator, coming towards me. Darkness swallowing the corridor. I ran into room 1200. I don't know why. Instinct. The door slammed shut behind me. The silhouettes stood up slowly, all at once. Every single one of them took a step towards me, and, in perfect unison, they whispered, "Stay." The lights went out. Total darkness. Then, I was falling. Not physically, but mentally, like memories were being pulled from my head. Nights I didn't remember working, shifts I didn't recall taking, conversations I never had, all flooding back, over and over. The same week, repeating. Every time I press the button, every time I get curious, every time I step on 12.
The lights came back on. I was standing in the lobby, alone. The clock read 12:02 a.m. My shift had just started. I looked down. In my hand was the elevator key card. On the desk, a printed sheet of rules. Rule 1, monitor all active floors. Rule 2, complete hourly patrols. Rule 3, do not access the 12th floor. The ink on Rule 3 was still wet, like it had just been rewritten. I slowly turned towards the camera monitors. Basement, 1 through 11. Roof, no 12. Then, for a split second, between 11 and roof, a screen flickered. A hallway, dim yellow lights, and at the very end, someone standing there, watching